What's up fam, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing Let's Talk About, and we're going to be talking about school, going back to school, how to survive basically. I saw a lot of videos and I've seen a lot of posts and tweets and Instagrams about going back to school and how much people are going to hate it and how hard it's going to be. So I thought I'd make a video talking about my experience at school and talking about some ways that you can make your school life a little bit easier, because at times it can really test you. So just talk about my experience. I went to high school and then I went straight on to university. At high school I was kind of the kid that just sits and passes all their classes. Nobody really pays attention to them. Like, I was just the quiet kid in class that did the work and wasn't really anything else. I wasn't in like extracurricular programs. I didn't really do anything to make myself stand out at school. I really just wanted to blend in. That was part of my main goal at high school, was to blend in. And then when I went into university, I was pretty much the same. I struggled a lot with making friends because I wasn't really an outgoing person and I didn't really know how to approach people. And especially at university, where they don't make you do anything, like everything you do is up to you, so you're not forced to make friends. You get put in group assignments, but like the lecturers and tutors don't really care if everyone's working well together. So thinking back on my high school experience, if I could give any advice to you, I would say work hard. Like, I know it's stupid and obviously you're thinking like, of course I'm going to work hard, but there are times when I feel like there were definitely times when I knew I could have been trying harder and I wasn't, and I really regret that now because it really reflected in my final grade, which has then reflected when I go to university and when I apply for jobs. So put all your effort in and really try to maximize your time there. Like, high school, it's not going to be one of the best times of your life. I'm not going to say that because not everyone has a good time at high school, but it's definitely going to be a really important part of your life. And it's really gonna, as much as I hate to admit it, impact how well you do later on in life. Another thing that I think is really important is to really be an active participant in your school. Like, do extracurricular things, do the yearbook, do drama class, do sports, do something that really makes you a part of your school and really gives you a sense of achievement and self-fulfillment. It's super important to have a place where you feel like you belong, to be a part of something, and high school is an excellent place to get that. Especially if you are like me and you struggle at making friends, joining a sports team is a really good way to kind of force yourself into doing it, because you're going to be spending a lot of time with those people, you're going to be talking to them a lot, you're probably automatically going to make friends. The other piece of advice that I want to give, and then I'm going to go into some tips and tricks to get you through high school and studying. The last piece of advice is, I know it's crazy because you get to year 10, or at least in Australia, you get to year 10 and all your teachers in high school start going, okay, what do you want to do when you grow up? And you're like, whoa, like, I have no idea. I don't even know what I want to do tomorrow. Like, that, I don't know. So everyone puts a lot of pressure on those kids, and it really frustrates me to see, because as someone who, I felt a lot of pressure myself, and I was stressed out so much in year 10 and then in year 12 when I was applying to university. I was so stressed. I was so sure I had to make the right choice. It was like life or death for me. I was absolutely certain. And then you kind of realize, you go to university and it's like I'm only like, however old you are, like this year I was like, I'm only 20. Why am I forcing myself to make such a big choice now? I have no idea who I am. I have no idea what I want to do. Why am I putting this upon myself? So try to remember that even though, yeah, it's great if you can make the choice the right time around. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. So yeah, let's get into some top 10 hacks, tips, tricks to get yourself through high school, studying, university. These are in no particular order. These are just things that I went online and found, or things that I used when I was in high school and found really useful, and I wanted to share with you guys to maybe lighten the load a little bit. So the first one is to utilize what you've got. Now, if you're like me, my phone is literally like It's on my person all the time. I'm attached to it by the hip. So I loved, when I was in high school, I loved using apps or websites that could help me because I was constantly there. Some apps that I already talked about in my favourites video that you can go and check out, I'll link below if you want to go and watch that, is Tiny Cards, which is like a flashcard learning system. Flashcards are an excellent way to learn your topics. I would definitely invest, if you're not going to get tiny cards, I would definitely invest in even just making flashcards, because they're super useful to study for. Really good, like, because they're visual, but they're also written. So if you have different learning styles, then it complements both. Another one, the app that I already talked about in my favourites video, is Forest, which is a great way to remove distractions and keep yourself from, you know, like halfway through studying, you suddenly take a break and go on your phone for half an hour. It's a really good way to keep yourself focused and right there on topic on what you want to be doing. If you're doing language studies, an app that I would definitely suggest for you would be Duolingo. I've been learning Spanish on it. I'm 9% fluent in Spanish, if anybody wants to know. And and you learn at your own pace. You set how much you want to do in a day. If you're already doing it in a class, then I imagine it would be really easy for you. It would just be a way to come home and reinforce that knowledge that you already have. Now, websites that I found that really helped me in high school. First one you all probably know about because everyone's probably talked about it. Wolfram Alpha. If you have a math problem that you can't solve, or you just want to learn how to, maybe you got the right answer but you have no idea how you got there, which happened to me all the time in math. So the next website that you could check out is Zookal, I think, or Zookal, or something like that. It's more for university students. It will help you find free textbooks because I know how expensive textbooks can be. It's extortionate. So, tip number 2 is the Pomodoro method for maximum efficiency studying. So what you should be doing if you really want to maximize your studying and really nail that test is you do 25 minutes of hard work, a 5-minute break, which includes actually leaving where you are, getting up, walking around, getting a drink, going and talking to someone. It's not just sitting back in your chair and daydreaming for 5 minutes. You actually have to do something else and take yourself away from the work and then come back. And then every third break should be 20 minutes long. So maybe in that third break you go and make some food, you go and talk to your mum and your dad, you go just do something, maybe play some like distraction games on your phone or something like that. Just something so that you're not constantly trying to cram all this information into your brain, because there's no way your brain's going to take in all that information. Tip number 3, this is for university students and high school. Review your notes within 1 day of taking them. Retention rates are 60% higher if just after you've done the lecture, you go and you sit down somewhere and you look through the notes and maybe make additional notes at the bottom, make like a little summary of what was talked about. If you're in high school, you can do this in class as well. And then once you come home, go through all the notes that you took in class that day and make a summary of what you've learned. Okay, so tip number 4, and this was one that I saw included everywhere. Every time I looked for back to school tips, tricks, hacks, anywhere I looked on the internet, this was there, so I thought I had to put it in here. And that is, take a screenshot of your schedule and set it as your lock screen. This seems super simple, and maybe you're like, oh, well, yeah, I'll just remember my schedule. It's just so much easier to have it there, and then you'll find that every time you open your phone you can see it. Eventually you'll have it memorized pretty quickly and you can change your lock screen to something else. Tip number 5, take care of yourself. Drink water, get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, try to eat good food, and if you're going to snack, try to have good snacks. Nuts, veggies, healthy things that are going to help your brain function whilst you're trying to get through high school. 6, have a study buddy. Invest in friends. So important. Saying things aloud makes them easier to memorize, so studying with a friend and maybe reading them your flashcards or them reading you their flashcards will help you so much. And also you can use these guys as an ally and eventually, you know, force them to give you the answers to tests if you need them. Okay, tip number 7, don't forget to treat yourself. Have pamper nights. If you've just studied really hard for a really big test, the night of that test, come home, draw yourself a bath, use some bath bombs, have a face mask, paint your nails, moisturize your whole body, Just get yourself feeling good and treated right, and really reward yourself for how hard you worked, and reward your skin and your body, because you'll feel so much better. I know stress can really affect your body with pimples, maybe you're stress eating, putting on weight. It'll just make you feel 100 times better to really treat yourself and treat your body. Tip number 8. Send essays to your friends for proofreading. What I used to do in university is I used to have a friend that was in all the same classes as me, and I would send my essay to her and she would send hers to me, and we would proofread it and then send it back, and then we'd keep going until we were ready to submit. This is a really good way because you're not always going to pick up all the errors in what you've written. If you don't have someone that you can send or someone that you feel comfortable sharing your work with, which is totally fair enough, I understand that, then you can always copy and paste it into Google Translate, and Google Translate will read it out for you, and then you can maybe hear all the errors and hear if a sentence sounds a little bit off. Tip number 9. Avoid studying in your bed/bedroom. Your brain, I'm going to read from my notes here for a second. Your brain associates your room with relaxation/sleep. Doing homework/studying in your room can mess with that association and cause insomnia. So if you can, find a quiet room somewhere else. I used to study a lot in my bedroom, and I did notice that it kind of, when I would study in my bedroom versus if I would study somewhere else, I wasn't always retaining the information as well. So maybe if you can find a quiet area in your house, go to a library, go to a quiet cafe, even if you just go to a friend's house and study somewhere else there, or go to a park. Tip number 10. Don't study on an empty stomach. Start your study session with a light snack like fruit or yogurt. So those are my 10 tips for going back to school. I hope you find them useful. I hope when you are in school, maybe you think of some of these things and they help you get through. One more thing I wanted to talk about on the topic of going back to school is that I know how stressful school can be. I went through it. I definitely had stressful times at university. And a big topic going around right now is mental health and how schooling can affect mental health. And I just wanted to say, don't be afraid to put yourself first. Take mental health days if you really need them, but push hard as well to get the grades that you need. Try and confront, if you have anxiety about making friends or doing well in class, try and confront that anxiety because it'll only help you grow. Try not to hide away or make excuses. You shouldn't let school ruin your mental health, but you also shouldn't let your mental health run your life, which I think is a really important message that you need to carry with you wherever you go. Okay guys, thanks for watching. That was my Let's Talk About School video. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, comment below. If you have any comments or questions about my school experience or anything else about what's going on with you at school, you can comment down below. You can tweet at me or you can comment on my Instagram. I would love to talk to any of you. And thanks for watching so much. Please like, comment, if you could subscribe, that would be amazing. And I'll see you guys in my next video.